I am Kendra, 29 years old, and a dedicated high school teacher in Seattle. For 4 years, I'd been pouring nearly a third of my salary into keeping my family afloat, mortgage payments, grocery runs, even bailing out my older brother's debts, while they chipped away at me with their endless digs. That one family dinner shattered everything. My father leaned in, his voice dripping with that familiar sneer, and said, "How does it feel to be dumber than a pig?" My mother chuckled, her eyes sharp as knives, and my younger sister burst out laughing, grabbing my plate and tossing it aside like trash. "This is human food," she mocked, the words landing like a slap. The table erupted in their twisted amusement forks clinking against plates as if nothing had happened. My stomach twisted into knots. I'd given them everything: my time, my money, my sanity, and this was how they saw me. Useless. Invisible. I pushed back my chair, the scrape echoing loud in the sudden hush, and walked out without a word. No explosion. No tears. Just silence. One day later, my phone lit up with my mother's desperate plea. "We need $50,000 to save the house." Her voice cracked over voicemail, all the venom gone. I stared at the screen, the irony burning hot. All those years of their barbs, and now this. I typed back, fingers steady for the first time in forever. 3 people begging a pig. The line went dead silent on their end. That message. It was the spark. What came next tore our family apart and rebuilt me from the ashes. If you've ever been the punchline in your own life, drop a comment below. Where are you watching from? You won't believe the revenge that followed. Looking back 4 years, everything shifted when my father lost his job at the auto shop. Victor had always scraped by, but the layoffs hit hard, and suddenly our family home in the Seattle suburbs teetered on the edge of foreclosure. I was 25 then, fresh out of college with a teaching credential and my first gig at Lincoln High, molding young minds while mine spun with worry. Without thinking twice, I stepped in. I've been covering the mortgage ever since, $2,500 a month straight from my paycheck, plus groceries and utilities that ate another $500 weekly. It started as temporary, but what was supposed to last a few months stretched into years, my savings draining like sand through fingers. My mother, Tamara, quit her part-time gig at the library right after claiming the stress was too much. "We've raised you right," she'd say. Over the phone, her voice soft but insistent, as if that erased the late nights I'd spent grading papers to make ends meet. I wired the money without fail, watching my own dreams, a down payment on a cozy apartment downtown, fade further away. And it wasn't just them. My older brother Preston called one rainy afternoon, his voice tight on the line. "Sis, the business tanked. I need a loan to get back on my feet." He was 30, then married to Yolanda with a kid on the way, running a failing repair shop like Dad's. I fronted $30,000 from my emergency fund, no questions asked, because that's what family did. Or so I thought. Preston promised repayments, but months turned into excuses. Yolanda's maternity leave hit us hard, he'd mutter during our weekly check-ins while I juggled lesson plans and parent-teacher conferences. Dr. Harlan, my therapist I'd started seeing after a breakdown in the staff lounge, leaned forward during one session, his pen pausing mid-note. "Kendra, this isn't support, it's enabling. You've given them everything but what's left for you." His words hung heavy, stirring that familiar knot in my gut. I'd nod, change the subject, but deep down, the resentment simmered. Why did my straight A's in school earn eye rolls from Victor? Book smart, don't pay bills? While Preston's half-baked ideas got cheers, I'd pour coffee at dawn, prepping for classes on American history, only to field Tamara's complaints about empty nests by evening. One crisp fall morning, as leaves crunched under my tires on the drive to school, my phone buzzed with a bank alert. "Unusual activity on your credit line." I pulled over, heart racing, and logged in. There it was. A personal loan for $30,000 opened 6 months back, co-signed under my name, but addressed to our family home. The borrower. Listed as Preston, but the signature scanned fuzzy too perfect. My hands trembled on the wheel. Who would do this? The pieces clicked slowly. Tamara's vague mentions of tight months. Victor's sudden golf outings. I'd trusted them blindly, but it felt like a knife, twisting slow. By the time I reached the parking lot, doubt flooded in. Was this the breaking point or just the tip? I dove into the credit report one evening after school, the screen glowing harsh in my dim apartment as rain pattered against the window. The loan details stared back $30,000 approved 6 months prior with my social security number stamped bold. But the cosigner line blurred my vision, Marissa. My younger sister Marissa, 26 and fresh from her engagement to Quincy, had inked her name right beside mine. She'd always played the baby of the family batting lashes for favors, but forging ahead without a whisper tying me to their sinking ship. My chest tightened, breath coming short as I scrolled the terms: high interest, missed payments, already stacking penalties. They'd used it for Victor's business ideas. Tamara later admitted in a hushed call, but the betrayal hit like ice water. Word spread fast in our tight-knit circle, and soon the demands ramped up. Quincy landed a steady job at a tech firm downtown, and Marissa started house hunting in the leafy Bellevue neighborhoods, her texts buzzing non-stop. "Sis, we found the perfect place. 3 bedrooms, white picket fence dream. But the down payment's killer. $20,000 seals it. You in?" Her emojis sparkled, oblivious or maybe willfully blind. I stared at the photos she sent, gleaming kitchens, yards for kids I'd never have time to visit, while my own fridge hummed empty. Victor jumped in during a group chat, his thumbs flying. "Come on, Kendra, family first, right? You've got that teacher stability." Tamara piled on privately, her messages flooding my inbox late at night. "Don't be selfish now. We've all sacrificed for you. Think of the grandkids." Selfish. The word clawed at me, echoing old wounds from report card days when straight A's meant too bookish in their eyes. I started dodging the weekly calls, letting voicemails pile like unspoken accusations. One Sunday, as I prepped lesson slides on the civil rights movement for my sophomores, Tamara's ringtone pierced the quiet. I let it go to voice her words, spilling out frantic. "Why the silence? Quincy's folks are chipping in, but we need your part. It's only fair." Fair. The irony twisted bitter on my tongue. I'd skipped my own weekend getaway plans 3 times that year to cover their shortfalls, yet here they were, guilting me into more. Preston texted separately, his tone measured as always. "Hey, heard about the house. Rough spot, but Yolanda and I are stretched with the baby. If you could swing it." I gripped the phone harder, knuckles whitening. The exploitation seeped in, slow like smoke filling a room, every ask another layer choking out my space. Gatherings turned into minefields I sidestepped entirely. The annual block party came and went without me, excuses about grading deadlines landing flat. Marissa cornered me at the grocery store one afternoon, her cart loaded with wedding registry china. "What's with you lately? Mom says you're pulling away." She leaned in, voice dropping, conspiratorial. "The loan was just a mix-up. Quincy needed it quick. You'll get it back." A mix-up. My laugh came hollow, echoing off the aisles. I grabbed my milk and walked away, the chill of the cooler section matching the frost settling in my veins. The pressure built relentless, each evasion fueling their persistence until I couldn't ignore the rot anymore. The pressure simmered until it boiled over that sticky summer evening at the backyard BBQ. We settled around the long wooden table as dusk settled, plates clattering under the string lights. Victor carved into his steak, first knife scraping loud, and fixed his gaze on me across the spread. "Kendra, still buried in those history books. No wonder you're single, too busy playing professor to snag a real life." His chuckle rumbled low, the kind that invited echoes. Tamara joined in, dabbing her mouth with a napkin. "She's always been the smart one, but smart don't keep a roof over heads." The words landed casual, but they dug deep, stirring that old ache from childhood debates, where my facts earned snorts, not nods. Quincy shifted, uncomfortable, but Marissa leaned forward, eyes gleaming. Yeah, sis, all that brain power and you can't even spot a good deal on a house. Her fork stabbed a pickle the crunch sharp. I forced a smile fork midway to my mouth, but Victor wasn't done. He leaned back, beer in hand, and delivered the gut punch. How does it feel to be dumber than a pig? The table froze, then cracked open with their laughter. Tamara's high trill, Marissa's full-bellied guffaw that shook her shoulders. Before I could blink, Marissa snatched my plate, the coleslaw slopping over the edge as she flung it toward the grass. This is human food. She sneered, the mess splattering near my feet like an accusation. Forks paused midair, the neighbors glancing away polite, but my family. They howled on Victor, slapping the table till his beer sloshed. Heat flooded my face, not shame but fury, raw and electric coiling tight in my core. Years of barbs, flashed report cards, dismissed scholarships called lucky breaks, but this crossed the line, turning private jabs public. My pulse thundered in my ears. I stood slow chair, tipping back with a thud that silenced the chuckles. You think that's funny? My voice came steady low, cutting through the haze. Victor smirked, wiping his mouth. Lighten up, kiddo. It's just talk. But I was done swallowing it. Fingers flying across my phone screen under the table, I opened the banking app and tapped cancel on the auto-draft mortgage utilities, the works gone in seconds. The confirmation pinged soft, a quiet victory amid their stares. How does it feel knowing this ATM is closing forever? I said, meeting each gaze. Victor's widening eyes, Tamara's paling face, Marissa's frozen grin. Preston cleared his throat, awkward, Yolanda's hand on his arm tense, but no one spoke. Tamara recovered first, her napkin twisting frantic. Kendra, sit down, you're overreacting. Tears welled quick, her specialty. Victor's face darkened, fist clenching. You can't just walk out, we need that money next week. Threats laced his growl, the neighbors edging away now, whispers starting. Marissa stammered. Sis, wait, that was a joke. But the damage hung thick, their amusement curdled to panic. I grabbed my keys from the table, the metal cold against my palm, and turned for the gate. Joke's over, figure it out yourselves. The screen door banged behind me, their calls fading into the night, Victor bellowing my name, Tamara sobbing, Marissa's voice shrill. I slid into my car, engine roaring to life, and drove into the dark, the weight lifting slight with every mile. I pulled into my driveway just past 9, the engine ticking down while my mind raced ahead. Inside, the apartment felt smaller than ever, textbooks stacked on the coffee table, a half-graded essay glaring from my laptop. I dropped my keys with a clatter and sank onto the couch phone, still clutched tight. Notifications piled up already, group chat exploding with Marissa's all caps. What the hell? Victor's missed call flashing red, but Tamara's voicemail cut through, first time stamped minutes after I left. Kendra, come back. This is a family matter, don't throw it all away over a silly dinner. Silly. The word fueled the blaze. I'd endured their jabs for years, but tonight crossed into theft plain and raw. Fury sharpened my focus. I opened the banking app again, thumb hovering over the recurring transfers, mortgage to the lender, utilities wired monthly, even the grocery card I'd set up last winter. One tap, and they vanished, confirmations popping up, green canceled. 30 seconds and 4 years of bleeding money stopped cold. A grim smile tugged at my lips. Present perfect for the win, I'd been their crutch, long enough. But the real gut check came at dawn, sunlight slanting through blinds as Tamara's text lit my screen. Emergency, house payment due Friday. $50,000, buys time please for us. Attached a blurry scan of the foreclosure notice, red stamps screaming overdue. For us. As if my classroom walls closing in from skipped lesson upgrades hadn't been us all along. I forwarded it straight to Ellis, my family lawyer I'd consulted months back on a whim after Dr. Harlan's nudge. Meet today. His reply pinged instant, my office noon, bring everything. Blanche called mid-morning, her voice gravelly over speaker as I navigated traffic. Heard from Preston you okay, I'll swing by as witness. This smells off. My Aunt Blanche, sharp as ever at 60, had always eyed Victor's hobbies sideways. We converged at Ellis's downtown firm, the lobby smelling of polished wood and stale coffee. He spread the documents across his desk, credit pullouts, loan apps, bank statements I'd emailed overnight. This cosign on the loan fraud territory, Ellis said, glasses slipping down his nose. And the total's $40,000 across lines, all funneled back home. Blanche leaned in, flipping pages with manicured nails. Victor's gambling again, saw the casino stubs in his truck last month. Explains the rush approvals. Her whisper carried weight, the pieces slamming together like a lock clicking shut. Ellis nodded, grim, outlining the felony angles under Washington state law: identity misuse, up to 5 years if prosecuted. We drafted the ultimatum letter that afternoon: sign a repayment plan, house as collateral or face charges. They'll squirm, he warned, sealing the envelope. Sure enough, Victor stormed in by 3, face thunderous, Tamara trailing with red-rimmed eyes. This is blackmail, he bellowed, slamming the table so pens jumped. Ellis stayed cool. It's accountability. Sign or we file tomorrow. Tamara crumpled into a chair, sobs heaving. Kendra, how can you do this? We're your blood. Marissa hovered in the doorway, arms crossed defiant, but her eyes darted nervous. Denial poured out, Victor ranting, mix up on the forms. Marissa muttering it was for the family good. But anger cracked through Victor's vein, bulging as he jabbed a finger. Ungrateful brat, after all we've endured. The cycle spun, wild accusations, flying tears, flowing threats of disownment hurled like grenades. Blanche cut in sharp. Endured, try stealing from your own. Ellis slid the papers forward. Pen scratched reluctant Victor's grip, white-knuckled Tamara's signature shaky. Collateral locked payments scheduled monthly to creditors. As they shuffled out, sullen and spent, Victor shot back one last glare. You'll regret this. I met it steady. Regret? Not anymore. The signatures dried, but the backlash crashed in waves starting that very week. My inbox overflowed with voicemails from Tamara, her pleas shifting frantic by Tuesday morning. The bank's calling, payments bounced. We can't lose the house over this tantrum. Tantrum. As if her shopping sprees on my dime hadn't been the real indulgence. I deleted them one by one, the delete chime a small rebellion, but the knot in my stomach loosened only slightly. Preston reached out midweek, his text popping up during a free period between algebra classes. Heard the meeting went south. Yolanda and I talked, you did what you had to. Proud of you for holding the line. His words landed warm, a rare anchor in the storm. Yolanda adding her own note later. We've been quiet too long. If you need backup, we're here, no strings. Marissa cracked under the strain by Friday, showing up unannounced at my classroom door. After the final bell, her makeup smudged and arms wrapped tight around a coffee cup. Sis, can we talk away from them? We slipped into the empty faculty lounge, the vending machine humming low as she paced the linoleum. The loan. I signed because Quincy pushed, said it was temporary for our future. But it snowballed and I didn't know how to stop it. Her voice wavered, eyes flicking to the floor. Partial truth maybe, but the confession hung heavy, laced with that old entitlement. They leaned on me too, she whispered, but I get it now why you're done. I nodded, slow the air thick with unsaid hurts, but trust fractured beyond quick fixes. It's not just the money, Marissa, it's the everything. She hugged me, awkward, before leaving the door clicking shut, like a period on our old script. Rumors ignited fast after that, seeping through extended family like wildfire on dry grass. Blanche texted updates from her bridge club. Cousin Rita called Victor spinning tales, you're unstable, hoarding cash while we starve. Reputation shredded in whispers at church potlucks and neighborhood apps. Victor's version painting me the villain who abandoned blood for greed. Tamara fueled it, her Facebook posts veiled pleas about hard times from ungrateful kin. The isolation stung fresh, but it hardened my resolve too. I've faced empty parent nights at school, so this echo felt familiar, just louder. Financial ripples hit harder by month's end, the guarantor clause unearthed in a deeper audit, revealing another layer, $15,000 more tacked on from an old credit extension all routed home for emergencies. Nolan, my financial advisor I'd looped in post-meeting, crunched the numbers over Zoom one rainy afternoon, his screen shared with pie charts glaring red. Total exposure $40,000 cleaned up now means your savings rebound in 18 months, retirement on track, even a travel fund. His calm breakdown grounded me, projections showing my teacher salary finally mine. We mapped it out. Cut non-essentials, boost Roth contributions. That Bellevue condo eyed for years. Therapy bridged the gaps with Preston and Blanche that same month, our first group session in a quiet office overlooking Puget Sound. Preston arrived early, Yolanda at his side, fidgeting with her ring. Seeing it from your side? We should have spoken up sooner. Blanche nodded fierce, her scarf knotted tight. Victor's mess isn't yours to mop forever. Dr. Harlan guided us through the tangle, resentments, aired boundaries sketched on notepads, but the air crackled with limits. No full mending, just tentative steps like walking cracked ice. As waves lapped below, I felt the shift, not alone anymore, but clear-eyed on who stayed. By early fall, I'd packed my Seattle apartment into boxes, the echo of empty rooms a relief after the chaos. Portland called with its misty mornings and fresh starts, 45 minutes south, but worlds away in feel. I found a one-bedroom overlooking the Willamette, rent, $1,200 a month, modest, but mine walls painted sage green without anyone's input. Freelance gigs piled up, quick online tutoring for history buffs. Curriculum designs for charters pulling in an extra $20,000 yearly on top of my remote teaching load. Mornings blurred into lesson prep over strong coffee, afternoons free for hikes along the river trails, the crunch of gravel under boots chasing away old shadows. I'd glance at my phone sometimes, the block list a silent shield, numbers from Victor to Mara. Marissa grayed out their attempts, bouncing into void. Foreclosure hit them hard by winter, the bank's notice turning final after skipped installments piled sky high. Eviction papers served in January, deputies at the door while snow dusted the lawn. Victor landed janitor work at a strip mall, $15 an hour, mopping floors till midnight, his old gambling itch flaring under the strain, relapses tracked in Blanche's sparse updates, casino receipts slipping from his wallet again. Tamara scraped by as a clerk at the local dollar store, $11 an hour, ringing up candy for kids half her age. The fluorescent hum amplifying her quiet unraveling into full depression spells that kept her bedbound days. She's not the same, Blanche confided once over coffee, her cup steaming untouched. Pride's a heavy load when it crumbles. Marissa's world tilted next, the wedding plan she'd clung to dissolving under debt's weight. Quincy bailed mid-spring, citing too much family baggage, leaving her with canceled deposits and a venue refund check too small to matter. Job offers dried up after the rumors circled her network, graphic design interviews, ghosting her resume, the scandal's taint lingering like smoke. She texted from a blocked number once, slipping through. Everything's falling apart. Help. I read it in a park. Cherry blossoms drifting lazy, and deleted without reply. The irony settled cold, they'd branded me the fool, but here they scrambled in the mud they'd dug. A year on, I'd traded their noise for birdsong at dawn, my calendar filled with choices, weekend workshops on Portland's food carts, a solo trip to the coast where waves crashed indifferent. The scars remained faint lines from years bent under their pull, but they'd toughen me too. Cutting ties wasn't cruelty, it was the sharpest mercy I could give myself. Toxic roots strangle if left unchecked, better to sever clean and grow toward light. If this hits home, know it's okay to walk. Your peace isn't negotiable. It's the foundation. Family by blood tests limits, but the ones you choose, they lift. I've learned that the hard way, and it set me free.